Hello everyone and welcome to my very first video on Spider-Man PS4. Now obviously the game is not out yet, so until the game comes out I'm going to be making these, speculation videos and like things I want from the game, things like that in preparation for when the game comes out. Now for today's video, if you couldn't tell by the title, I will be talking about everything we know about the game so far. Now the first thing we know is pretty obvious. It's that the game will be an open world free roam game. Most Spider-Man games are, but there have been quite a few games that weren't. I'm pretty glad that this is an open world game, because the last good open world Spider-Man game we got was in 2008 with Spider-Man Web of Shadows. That's 10 years from when this game comes out. I mean, we had the Amazing Spider-Man games, but those are pretty bad, just like the movies. The next thing we know is that this is not an origin story. I believe in one of the posters inside Spider-Man's apartment during one of the scenes in the trailers, you can see that when Spider-Man was in that wrestling match, which was part of his origin, it was around 7 years prior to this game. So he's been Spider-Man for quite a long time, which is pretty cool. It's not just another origin story, so we get another unique story with Spider-Man. This one is pretty interesting. It turns out that Spider-Man's white logos actually have a meaning in this game. So for those who don't know, in this game, Spider-Man's costume is a little different, just from like sort of Webb's designs on his pants, but the biggest change is the giant white spiders on his costume instead of just the normal black one on the front and the red one on the back. I don't know why they made it this way, but I guess it was just a stylistic choice, but they have said that it means something to the story, so I guess we'll just have to find out. In terms of villains that we know are going to be in the game, we do have Kingpin, Shocker, Mr. Negative, and Norman Osborn. We know that Kingpin is taken out pretty early. He's probably the first enemy that we face. We saw the Shocker being fought quickly during one of the trailers during some bank heist, so maybe that's a side mission. Mr. Negative is featured prominently in just about all the trailers and gameplay we've seen, although it's been stated that he is not the main villain, which is pretty weird. I don't know who the main villain will be. But maybe it's Norman Osborn. We have seen a lot of Norman Osborn. In fact, a lot of posters inside New York City in the gameplay and the trailers show re-elect Norman Osborn for mayor, which is pretty interesting. Does that mean that Norman Osborn is not Green Goblin yet in this universe? I kind of highly doubt it, but it's interesting that the people of New York City would elect Norman Osborn as mayor, considering he's a bad guy. One thing we know about this game is that you can actually play as more than one character. So of course you can play as Spider-Man, but you're also able to play as Peter Parker, and the developers of the game did say that Peter Parker plays just as important role as Spider-Man. I mean, obviously they're the same person, but I think they're talking about gameplay-wise, you'll be playing a lot as Peter Parker. Another thing we could see briefly in the trailer is that we can actually play as Mary Jane. I don't know the full extent of this, obviously, because the game's not out, but it's weird that we can play as Mary Jane, of all people. But this also makes me wonder, will we also be able to play as Miles Morales, because he also is very prominently featured in this game, so possibly we'll be playing as Miles Morales. I doubt it'll be Miles Morales as Spider-Man, because that would be just dumb to have two Spider-Men in this game. I just want to play as Peter Parker, but who knows. We do know that you'll be able to play as more than one character, which is, I guess, sort of unique for a Spider-Man game. I mean, we've seen this in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time, where you can play as the alternate versions of Spider-Man, but we'll just have to wait and see for the full extent of playing as other characters. Just a small detail, we do know that the map size is going to be approximately 5 times bigger than that of Sunset Overdrive. Now, I've never played Sunset Overdrive, but from what I've seen, it's a decently sized map, so it being 5 times larger, hopefully this is a big map for the game. It'd be also cool to see other unique locations in the Marvel Universe, like the Baxter Building or Avengers Mansion, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now the final thing that I have on my list of things that we know about is that the game apparently takes multiple days to complete. One of the developers of the game said that it took him multiple days to complete the game, which I'm happy about. Does that mean there's alternate endings? Does that mean the story's just that long? I'm just happy that the game is long. One of my complaints for the game would be if it was short. Like, that's something that I wouldn't want in this game. So if the game is long, that there's more potential to have good things in it. Anyway, that's pretty much all we know about the game so far. I mean, there's probably like a thing or two that I missed, but for the most part, that's what we need to know about the game so far. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next week when I make my next Spider-Man PS4 video. What will it be? I have no idea. It's really late when I'm recording this, so I gotta get some sleep. Anyway, that's it. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.